Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Nashtaprayasho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. We canto 4, chapter 4, verse 28. Tat Pashyatam Ke Bhuvi Chadbhutam Mahad Aheti Vadas Sumahana Jayata Antapriya Daivatamasya Devi Jaha Vasun Kena Sati Prakopita. When Sati annihilated her body in anger, there was a tumultuous roar all over the universe. Why had Sati, the wife of the most respectable demigod Lord Shiva, quit her body in such a manner? There was a tumultuous roaring all over the universe in the societies of the demigods of different planets. Because Sati was the daughter of Daksha, the greatest of all kings, and the wife of Lord Shiva, the greatest of all demigods. Why did she become so angry that she gave up her body? Since she was the daughter of a great personality and wife of a great personality, she had nothing to desire, but still she gave up her body in dissatisfaction. Certainly, this was astonishing. One cannot attain complete satisfaction, even if one is situated in the greatest material opulence. There is nothing Sati could not achieve, either from a relationship with her father or from a relationship with the greatest of the demigods. But still, for some reason, she was dissatisfied. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that one has to achieve real satisfaction. Yayatma suprasidati. But Atma, the mind, body, and soul all become completely satisfied only if one develops devotional service to the absolute truth. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshade. Ahaitukiya pratyata yayatma suprasidati. Adokshaja means the absolute truth. If one can develop his unflinching love for the transcendental supreme person of Godhead, that can give complete satisfaction. Otherwise, there's no possibility of satisfaction in the material world or anywhere else. Uh, so Prabhupada is talking about satisfaction. Yeah. So there's no other way to be satisfied. Materially, there is no satisfaction. There's no possibility of satisfaction. So we want to keep, we want to have more and more. Mind is very, very disturbed, anxious, wanting more. See, in fact, even progress in devotional service. So one is we should be satisfied with whatever we have materially. Even spiritually, we should be satisfied in the sense we should obviously hanker for more, but we should also understand we should not be like materially like we are dissatisfied. We should not become like that. We should be satisfied, yet we should want more. It's like a slightly different, difficult to understand. Materially, we are not satisfied and hence we hanker for more. Spiritually, we should be satisfied and still we should hanker for more. Um, because if we become dissatisfied, it will become like material. So we have to have satisfaction, but still we should want more, more progression, more advancement. So it's like achintya. But spiritually, materially, we should be simply satisfied with whatever we have. Unfortunately, we are all wanting betterment in our material conditions. This may or may not happen. Depends on our karma phala, Krishna's will, what Krishna wants for us, etc., etc. So we may or may not achieve. But spiritually, we will always achieve. If you want to make progress, Krishna will always bestow mercy. Guru will always bestow mercy. Prabhupada will always bestow mercy. So spiritually, be satisfied by devotional service, yet hanker for more, and we can potentially achieve it. Materially, just be satisfied. But normally, we end up reverse. Mm. Spiritually, we are very satisfied. We feel, oh, too much. I'm doing too much. Enough. Materially, we want more. That's not going to make us happy. Spiritually, being satisfied and not hankering more is also not good. So both are not good. Not being satisfied materially is also not good. Being satisfied and not hankering for more spiritually is also not good. So the ideal for us is to be satisfied materially, be satisfied spiritually, but yet hanker more spiritually. That is the ideal mindset that one has to develop. अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यता प्रजापतेर्यस्य चराचरं प्रजाः जहावसून् यद् विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानम् adikshnamarhati. It was astonishing that Daksha was Prajapati, maintainer of all living entities, was so disrespectful to his own daughter, who was not only chaste but was also a great soul, that she gave up her body because of his neglect. So, what kind of a Prajapati can he be if he was neglectful of his own daughter? The word anatmya is significant. Atmya means the life of the soul. So, this word indicates that although Daksha appeared to be living, actually he was a dead body. Otherwise, how could he neglect Sati, who was his own daughter? It was the duty of Daksha to look after the maintenance and comforts of all living entities, because he was situated as Prajapati, the governor of all living entities. So Prabhupada is saying here that he was dead body because he was not doing his duty. This is not because he did not show affection to his own daughter. Because he was supposed to show, he was supposed to take care of all jivas, let alone his daughter. Therefore, how is it that he neglected his own daughter, who was the most exalted and chaste woman, a great soul, and who therefore deserved the most respectful treatment from her father? The death of Sati, because of her being neglected by Daksha, was most astonishing to all great demigods of the universe. So this also we've already discussed. Our own children, etc. It's the same treatment we should have towards children of other devotees or any children for that matter. Look at everybody as parts and parcels of Krishna, and that our responsibility to give them spiritual enlightenment. That's what it is. Whether it's our children or somebody else's children, it's the same responsibility as elders, as parents. But when we start seeing just our children as our children, then that is material vision, and that results in misery, suffering, anxiety for them, etc., etc. So we have to be careful. We have to look at our own children also as devotees, just like other devotees' children. Not be especially, of course, we have a slightly more responsibility towards them than towards children of other devotees or any other children, because we are been given the role of being their parents. So we will have little more responsibility, but not more attachment materially. More attachment materially means more suffering materially. Soyam durmarsha hridayo brahmadrukcha loke pakirtim loke pakirtim mahatim avapsyati yadangajam swam purushadvid udyatam na pratyashedan mritaye paradhataha. Daksha, who is so hard-hearted, that is unworthy to be a Brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offenses to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Daksha was hard hearted, so he will gain extensive ill fame. Daksha is described here as the most hard hearted and therefore unqualified to be a Brahmana. Brahmadruk is described by some commentators to mean Brahmabandhu, or friend of Brahmanas. Person who is born in a Brahmana family but has no Brahminical qualifications is called Brahmabandhu. Brahmanas are generally very soft hearted and forbearing because they have the power to control the senses and the mind. So this has to be also quality of a Vaishnava. Soft-hearted, forbearing, because they have power to control the senses and the mind. Daksha, however, was not forbearing for the simple reason that his son-in-law, Lord Shiva, did not stand up to show him the formality of respect. He became so angry and hard-hearted that he tolerated even the death of his dearest daughter. Sati tried her best to mitigate the misunderstanding between the son-in-law and father-in-law by coming to her father's house even without an invitation, and at that time Daksha could have received her, forgetting all past misunderstandings. But he was so hard-hearted that he was unworthy to be called an Aryan or Brahmana. So even practicing devotees, we should also not have vengeance, show vengeance, keep some feelings in our heart for long, and just develop ill will, ill hate towards others, and bad feelings. The amount of time we should hold any anger, resentment, etc. should be seconds. We should get over in seconds. So I was telling somebody saying that before I came to Krishna consciousness, this kind of feelings towards anyone would have mostly it's in the house would have been uh, many times up to days, few days, that anger. Then slowly, steadily, as we started practicing Krishna consciousness, it started reducing. Now mostly it's like few seconds, few minutes maybe, and sometimes even few seconds. It has to go. Then maybe just a wave will come in the heart and then stop, meaning we will not even feel that anger or negative emotion. That's the state we should get to. Otherwise, we can't be called Vaishnavas. Thus, his ill fame still continues. Daksha means expert, and he was given his name because of his ability to beget many hundreds and thousands of children. Persons who are too sexually inclined and materialistic become so hard hearted because of a slight loss of prestige that they can tolerate even the death of their children. So very gross materialists who don't care for anything but their prestige. वदत्येवं जने सत्या दृष्ट्वा सुत्यागमद्भुतं दक्षं तत्पार्षदा हन्तुम् उदतिष्ठन् उदायुधाः. While people were talking among themselves about the wonderful voluntary death of Sati, the attendants who had come with her readied themselves to kill Daksha with their weapons. The attendants who came with Sati were meant to protect her from calamities, but since they were unable to protect their master's wife, they decided to die for her, and before dying, they wanted to kill Daksha. It is the duty of attendants to give protection to their master. And in case of failure, it is their duty to die. Very important. We know in Srila Prabhupada once, I think was in Mauritius, somewhere, Brahmananda Prabhu at that time was with him, and suddenly there seemed, I mean, there was a car coming from front, and it would have been like head on. Uh, so Brahmanand Prabhu just embraced Prabhupada. He was huge. Um, so Prabhupada said, yeah, this is the right attitude. Attendants should give protection to their master even at their expense of their own life. Very important. तेषाम् आपततां वेगं निशाम्य भगवान् भृगुः यज्ञघ्नेन यजुषा दक्षिणाग्नौ जुहावः. They came forward forcibly, but Bhrigu Muni saw the danger and offering oblations into the southern side of the sacrificial fire, immediately uttered mantric hymns from the Yajurveda by which the destroyers of yagnic performances could be killed immediately. Here is one example of powerful hymns in the Vedas, which, when chanted, could perform wonderful acts. In the present age of Kali, it is not possible to find expert mantra chanters. Therefore, all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas are forbidden in this age. The only sacrifice is chanting of Hare Krishna mantra because in this age it's not possible to accumulate the needed funds for performing sacrifices, not to speak of finding expert brahmanas who can chant the mantras properly. अध्वर्युणा ह्यूयमाने देवा उत्पेतु रोजसा रभवो नाम तपसा सोमं प्राप्ताः सहस्रशः. And Bhrigu Muni offered oblations into the fire. Immediately, many thousands of demigods named Ribus became manifested. All of them were powerful, having achieved strength from Soma, the moon. It is stated here that many thousands of demigods named Ribus became manifested because of the oblations offered in the fire and the chanting of the hymns from Yajurveda. Brahmanas like Bhrigu Muni were so powerful that they could create such powerful demigods simply by chanting Vedic mantras. Vedic mantras are still available, but the chanters are not. By chanting Vedic mantras or chanting the Gayatri or Rig mantra, one can attain the results one desires. The present age of Kali it is recommended by Lord Chaitanya that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can attain all perfection. So we don't have to go behind mantras. Many times we see even in ISKCON, we end up chanting this mantra, that mantra. Nothing is required. All perfection can be achieved by chanting Hare Krishna. But this is a matter of faith. Mm. Chintamani, Nama Chintamani. Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinatvam Namanam. So we have to have faith that it's not different from Krishna, it's as powerful as Krishna. Nothing else is required. Just chant Hare Krishna. That's all. Panchatattva and Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Panchatattva because we do offenses, so to get mercy, to get over those offenses, Nama Prad, then chant Panchatattva, beg for mercy, and chant Hare Krishna. That's it, over. Actually, for anything, anything on the spiritual platform, any impediments, etc., we can simply chant Hare Krishna. We don't have to chant anything else. During Prabhupada's time, there was no chanting of other mantras and all that, just Hare Krishna, anything and everything. Even when Prabhupada was, last days of his manifest pastimes, he used to just tell Bhagavatam and Harinam are my medicine. Just go on chanting. So devotees used to come into Prabhupada's room and just chant Hare Krishna. That's all, nothing else. Nowadays, people chant some Narsimha Kavacha, some this, some that, all kind of things we are doing. This is not at all what Lord Chaitanya wanted was to just depend on Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's all. तैरा अलातायुधैः सर्वे प्रमत्था सह गुह्यकाः अन्यमानादिशोभेजुरुषद्भिर्ब्रह्मतेजसा. When the Ripu demigods attacked the ghosts and Guhyakas with half-burnt fuel from the Yagna fire, all these attendants of Sati fled in different directions and disappeared. This was possible simply because of Brahma Tejas, Brahminical power. The word Brahma Tejasa used in verse is significant. In those days, Brahmanas were so powerful that simply by desiring and by chanting a Vedic mantra, they could accomplish very wonderful effects. But in the present age of degradation, there's no such Brahmanas. According to the Pancharatrika system, in this age, the entire population is supposed to consist of Shudras because the Brahminical culture has been lost. But if anyone displays the signs of understanding Krishna consciousness, he should be accepted according to Vaishnava Smriti regulations as a prospective Brahmana and should be given all facilities to achieve the highest perfection. But again, the important thing is one has to display the qualities, not simply taking some, Brahman Diksha. We should also be displaying qualities of a Brahman. The most magnanimous gift of Lord Chaitanya is that the highest perfection of life is available in this fallen age if one simply adopts the process of chanting Hare Krishna, which is able to bring about fulfillment of all activities in self-realization. See, this is what I said. Now we read these things in Prabhupada's purports, but we don't put them into practice. That's why sometimes, sometimes Prabhupada was asked, saying that, should I follow what you're saying in your books or should I follow what your disciples are doing? Because obviously there seemed to be a gap between what disciples were doing and what Prabhupada was saying. And we see that even today. Prabhupada is saying, depend on Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we do other things. Prabhupada is saying, do book distribution. Mm, so we are not actually really following what Prabhupada said. Simply, we just, uh, like I keep saying, we're all becoming acharyas, deciding our own way. Okay, so I think with this we'll end this chapter. Frustration of the sacrifice of Daksha. Okay, and then Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva. Okay, and then sacrifice performed by Daksha. So I think 7. Yeah, 3 more chapters. I think after this is Dhruva. Yeah, okay. So we finished 4. We'll start 5 from tomorrow or yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, Rohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, what might be the root cause of Daksha's position, Prabhu? Is this because of pride of his position or envy? Because
Yeah,
he
that's what
gave
it.
up Shiva?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. He was very proud, a materialistic person,
Okay.
expecting that he should be respected, and he was spiritually completely ignorant.
But
Yeah.
he is Prajapati means he should be a devotee of
No,
Vishnu,
no,
right?
no,
No?
no. See, this
Okay.
is one thing we have to understand, saying that material, yeah, see, if somebody is given some material position, doesn't have to necessarily mean that everybody has to be a devotee.
Mm.
Uh, because Jiva's desires, based on
Mm-hmm.
Jiva's desires. But if somebody has potential to take up some responsibility, they are given that responsibility.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, this would have been Vaikuntha. Hmm.
Right, right.
Otherwise, if all capable people, like for example, today's ministers, administrators, everybody would have been fully Krishna conscious, then it would have become Vaikuntha.
Now, my question is he appeared from Brahma, right? So, like,
No, I mean, see, everybody appeared from, you see whole
Brahma.
history, everybody appeared
Ah,
from
right,
some great
right.
soul only,
True,
right?
true.
It was not like ordinary souls, but the point is, of course, one is there is a design of the material world, and then there are jivas, and all of them have different desires, right? It said Brahma only sometimes is not a devotee, right? So
Ah,
what can you say?
right,
So
right.
this material world, I mean, we should always remember this material world. It is ideal for us to see. That is why, if we just even see, for example, even the sixth Shaddarshana, right? Even like they are not devotees. They talk about great people, Jaimini, Gautama, Karnada, etc. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but all of them are not devotees, right? They are all big philosophers, big.
Oh,
Prabhupada used to call them scientists,
right.
right? Big people, but they are not devotees. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, no material creation is. Devotees
Okay.
are very few. You have to search for devotees.
Okay.
Actually, whole of Bhagavatam, if you see, um, most of the description, there's so many names, right? Not very few of them are devotees. Even amongst those who are devotees, there are very few who are actually devotees of Krishna.
Yes.
And even amongst those who are devotees of Krishna, there are few who are in this Gaudiya Parampara. So we are just very fortunate souls somehow. Uh, and somehow we are here. So we should make use of it and achieve perfection because it's very rare. It's really, really rare. Shivram Maharaj in his book Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, he says that anybody who's come to Krishna consciousness now is just few steps away from Vaikuntha. But we don't look at it like that, right? And we still somehow want to better our, material position, material this, that, and all that. But we are just few steps away. If you just understand that and appreciate that and, commit ourselves to spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, then we can go back this life. It's so rare, very, very rare. Okay, any other thoughts? Okay, thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Antakoti Vaishnavandi ki jai. Jagat Guru Sri.